Well, hello everyone and welcome again to Painless Universal Conversation with myself, Anne Welsh. Today we're talking about how wishes can come true. Is it based on us or is it based on us wishing for other people? My guest today, Judith, will be telling us about her own journey and why she believes there's various methods to make your wish come through. Before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about my guest. So she is the curator, she's an author, and the copy girl of Lucid Mind Center. We'll be talking about the magic of mental power and how to use it to overcome your pain and find your joy. She's all about the mind and wishing since she was a little girl. We'll be talking about how to manifest and wishfulness, to do that, to help you overcome whatever you're going through. Most importantly, the power of forgiveness, what to do to be able to forgive someone who's hurt you and move on and still find your joy. What are the steps needed to do this? I'm truly excited to have her here, because when we have conversations like this, it gives you an insight into the reality of the world. What do we need to succeed in a world that feels so evil, that feels so mean? But with this conversation, you realize that there's so much opportunity out there. We just need to wish for it and follow some practical steps. Meet my wonderful guest, Judy, as she shares her story. Well, hello everyone and welcome again to Painless Universal Conversation with myself, Anne Welsh. Human consciousness is today's topic. Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever thought about who are you? What does this life really mean? Can wish come true? And even if it doesn't, even if you want it to, can you alter your wish to make it come through? My guest will be telling you about her own journey, why she believes wishes can come true. And even if they don't, there are ways to alter it to still make them come true. She's going to be telling us her history, her own journey, her struggles in life, and how she finds her joy along the way. How are you?
I'm very good.
Oh my goodness, where are you joining me from? Where are you?
I am in Gran Canaria. This is one of the main Canary Islands, about 2,000 kilometers south of the coast of Spain. So we are basically just very close to Morocco.
Oh gosh, it's beautiful. It's a lovely, the weather there is just fantastic. I mean, if anyone could enjoy such beauty, I think you definitely glow for someone who's out there. So please enjoy. No, Judy, I reach out to you because your work is really phenomenal. You are an author and you have this thing called the Coffee Girl of the Lucid Mind Center, which is something we'll be talking about as we go along. And also you talk about the magic of the mental power and how to use it to overcome your pain and find your joy. Before I get started into any of this, who are you?
Who am I?
Yes.
If I have to define myself, first and foremost, I'm a mother. I have got 4 children, and my last child has just yesterday, 15 years old, moved to another country. So I'm in a new situation because suddenly that mother role is not so prominent in there. Other than that, I'm a marketer. I'm doing digital marketing and designing websites. And apart from that, I am a consciousness explorer. I'm on a mission to help people recognize their own power within themselves and also to become aware of their energy, the life force energy within themselves. So I recently started Qigong. About a year ago, I started Qigong, and I'm training to be a master because this was very interestingly my missing link, where I know now exactly how to explain all those things which I need to explain to other people to experience it within themselves. So this is me.
Absolutely, really amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So when you look at your background growing up, because there must be some kind of element to go to that human consciousness, there must be something in you, within you, calling that name. Consciousness, I need to be conscious about this, I need to be conscious about that. Tell me that journey. What was your background like growing up as a child?
Well, my parents, they are from Croatia. My father's from Croatia, my mother from Bosnia, and they have just traditionally, they're not even aware of it, but we have traditionally got kind of a very strong connection to the spiritual side of us. So somehow when I was very small, I always knew that wishes can come true. I don't know if somebody had said it to in my family, or I don't know. It was just clear to me that wishes come true, but you just have to tweak them. You just have to know how to do it. And I experimented it since I can think. There was never a time in my life that I didn't think that they'd come true. I always knew that they came true. I just needed to know how to wish them. And also very early in my life, I was aware that not every single desire I have can come true, because there's some sort of a higher power which is overlooking, which is controlling the process, maybe in a some sort of a karma which we have, or a fate or something. There's a particular line which we have to walk independent of what we are wishing or not. And does that answer your question? Did that answer your question?
It does indeed. Yes, it does indeed. So go on, tell me about your childhood when you your parents were from Croatia, you lived there, and how did you end up in your beautiful Granada where you are now?
Gran Canaria.
Gran Canaria, yes.
So I was, when my parents moved to Austria when I was 1 year old, it is in Vienna. The temperature in Vienna is like a normal middle European, Northern European temperature, very cold in the winter, similar like to the UK. And I wanted to live somewhere where it was always warm. So I desired that particular thing when I was about 19. I wanted to live somewhere where it was always warm. And then about a year later, I got to know a person who told me, listen, there is this island in the Atlantic, close to Morocco, about 100 kilometers off the coast of Morocco, which belongs to Spain. They're called the Canary Islands, and there is this one island which is Gran Canaria. It's paradise. It's always warm there, and there no poisonous animal live on that island. And I was thinking, I want to live there. That's where I want to live. And about 2 years later, I arrived. That was in 1993. And now I've been living here almost 30 years. And I love it. Oh. I didn't see the beauty of the island straight away. It took me some time. But basically, the island has got everything what I wished for my life. So this is just like one of those wishes which came true.
You said that when you were a little girl, you knew. Somehow you knew wishes did come true. What led you to do this discovery?
I don't know. Maybe because there was, maybe upset, unhappiness. So you wanted to get out of a particular situation, dissatisfaction. So you maybe maybe there was problems at school, maybe there was a problem I had with my parents or something, and I needed to resolve a situation in one way or another. Or I had a test which I needed to pass in a particular way, or I wanted somebody to call me, or I wanted to meet somebody, or I wanted to learn something. So as I was experimenting with it, I realized that, for example, wishes when you wish for somebody else to do something for you, that doesn't really work. You can't wish for example, typical girl, I want this boy to fall in love with me. That doesn't work. But I would like to learn to play piano. And then, for example, meeting a piano teacher maybe 2 days later who is actually willing to teach me the piano for free because he needs to learn how to teach, things like that. Or I need to pass a test, and then actually having like a lucid dream, like a practical test, that I actually have a lucid dream exactly about the steps which I need to do the next day. And then when I arrive at the test the very next day, all the steps, they were like a repetition, because I kind of had dreamed it during the night, exactly every single step of what I needed to pass this test. And so I almost did it like when I did the test, it was like almost automatic. I didn't even have to think. It's because it just it almost as if there was some kind of higher force which was taking care of it for me. So this is where it came. But then later on I realized that that was only a preparation. It was just a preparation for me to understand that we need to learn and believe that we can wish and manifest. I mean, manifesting, this is what we call it nowadays, manifestation. We need to learn that we can manifest, that we have the power. But the second step is actually to understand, what do I want to use this power for?
Yeah.
Is it just because I want to do it for my own benefit, or is there something more I need to wish for? So, of course, world peace, but maybe world peace is a little bit big. But what can I do in my own community? Instead of wishing that I have a big house, maybe I want to teach 10 people how to meditate. Maybe that is a more interesting wish on a human level or a planetary level.
So when did you start experimenting with this concept that wishes can come true? When did you realize I need to start experimenting this?
I did not realize that I needed to experiment. I did it always. I always did it. I just, like, when you ask me now, I can remember I was standing in my bedroom. I was like 5 or 6. I had a big mirror on the wall, and I was standing in front of that and wishing and wishing and wishing. I spent a lot of time on this when I was very young. And then later on, this advanced to consciousness exploration altogether, just the power of the mind, what the mind can actually do. Like how to manifest and how to keep yourself positive, because it's not just a wish. It's never just a wish, and the wish in itself is not enough. You have to kind of make a target. This is what I know now. I didn't know that at the beginning, but you have to kind of make a target, a goal, and then you need to also make those little targets in between, which are going to make you reach your goal. So it's not just enough. I want to have this big house close to the sea. That is not enough. You also need to kind of think, okay, so how do I get there? How do I get this big house next to the sea, or whatever it is, what some people want.
It's almost like where you are now. You had this big thing, someone just told you, but you made plan, took you 2 years to get to where you are now. So it's almost like you had a wish, you wanted someone warm, but you made plans to get there. You're a mother of 4.
Yes.
When you look at your children, we learn so much from our kids. What have your taught you?
Oh, they've taught me many. My children are my biggest teachers, absolutely, because you can't escape it. When you have got other people, you can escape them, but you can't escape being with your children. And they taught me patience. They taught me that everything has got its time, so you can't run before you have learned to walk. You can't expect things from people before they're ready. That is like one very big lesson I learned with my third child, not before. With my third child, I realized that you have to allow people to come to get ready before they can understand something. So especially with children, because with the third child, I really began doing attachment parenting very intensely. Being always very close to your child so the child doesn't get upset. And I realized that it's really programmed. The developmental stages are programmed into a human being. So when they're ready, they will walk. And when they're ready, they will talk. But it's not only with those obvious things. It's also, it's also about understanding, kindness, or understanding to ask forgiveness, to say sorry or something. They have to be ready before they can do it. And so that is one of the biggest things I have learned from them.
You teach people how to meditate, de-stress, and undo their fears. What methods do you use to do this?
Well, now I have been using HemiSync. This is like binaural beat recordings from the Monroe Institute, which can get you into a very deep, relaxed state. I have also before been doing the Course in Miracles. I think this is a very, very strong, profound mind training course. And lately now I've started with Qigong, which was my missing link. Qigong, this is like a part of the Chinese medicine. It's about moving the energy within the body and relaxing, grounding. And this is my preferred method. I absolutely love it, because through the moving meditation, people become really aware of their center in their body. and they become aware of the energy flowing through their body. Also with breathing, it's very important that when people get back into the body, when they get back into their center, and when they start paying attention to their breathing, that's when they return into the now. And it's in the now where you release all the stress and fear of the future and worries and painless thoughts which we had in the past. When we are in the now, then they kind of disappear. They're not in the present.
I think we should all do that.
We all should.
The world is filled with so many painful thoughts, so many painful things going on. And when you look at the news, when you look everywhere, it just feels so painful. But with this experience, I think this is something that we all need to practice, figure out how to let go of that pain, so we could be now, we could live for today and keep finding our joy wherever we go. One of the things I love about you, Judith, is that you also have hobbies. One of the, you turned your hobby into an online business. And it's very rare that people could do that, to turn something that they're truly passionate about into a money-making business. What skill set did you need to change from hobby into an actual profitable business?
What do you need? You need to have a lot of willpower. And I'm a doer. I'm a person who does things. So I realized I always wanted to have my own business because I want to be my own boss. So what is my talent? My talent is that I can run by myself. I don't need anybody to tell me anything. In fact, it's counterproductive for me. If I want to go there and somebody says to me, go there, it's difficult for me. So I like to be my own boss. I don't like other people to tell me what to do. So that was the main skill set. And then of course, not giving up. I don't give up. And again, tying it in with the wishes and making small steps every day. Just if you feel negative, if somebody feels like really negative or down, then just do something anyway, just something maybe which is not important, but it's always necessary to have every day just a little bit of a progress. And in the beginning, it's hard. I mean, if other people are out there and they want to start a business, in the beginning, it's hard because you can't see any results at all. Wow. And it's only after you've done those thousands of different steps, thousands of those seeds which we have sown in the earth and grown and whatever, then suddenly people start believing in you, start ordering your products, start buying it, start recontracting you, and as that happens, then one believes in themselves, so I start believing that what I'm doing is actually valuable to people. And during this period, I've been doing that now for almost 8 years or 9 years. Also my mindset changes. In the beginning, I maybe just wanted to make my business succeed. Now I also want my clients to succeed. So as I changed my mindset, they somehow come to me. More people come to me. It's almost like there's some invisible force, which has got to do with my own mindset.
Absolutely. We're going back to the human consciousness.
Yeah.
You mentioned the power of wishing coming true. How do we learn to accept that some of our wishes, because I would love to wish for so many things right now, especially when I look at the world, the poverty, inflation, so many people being unhappy, that bigger picture. How can we learn to accept that some of our wish might not come true, but also adapt our lifestyle to make some wishes that can come true?
Well, first of all, you cannot wish for everybody. You cannot. You can see that it would be great, but this is not the wishing power. You can only control of yourself. It's only about this human experience you can wish for. Of course, you can wish, I want my child to pass the driving license, or I want my child to pass this test, or my husband to have a better job. But it's almost a bit in vain. The wish is almost misused because you're just kind of wasting your energy. What you can wish for is the things which you yourself can achieve, so I would like to understand, I would like to learn a new language. I would like to be able to speak Spanish, for example. I would really like to I would like to feel how it would be to speak fluently Spanish. So this is the ideal sentence. It's not about the sentence, it's about actually really feeling this inside. I wonder how it would feel to speak fluently Spanish. So this is the trigger moment where you deep inside in the core of your being desiring to experience something. And you can't desire, of course, I desire to experience how it would be if there was peace on earth. But here where I'm living, here where I am, and the things which I actually see without using media, without using any, watching news, here I have peace. So I am experiencing peace. You see? And that is, and that when you go too far away, it's not about misusing, it's almost like you're wasting your energy. So you don't want to waste your energy on things which you cannot accomplish.
Oh,
if you see what I mean.
I see what you mean. Because absolutely, because you can wish for your kids to do well at school, but it's not within your own capacity, because it's also they have to put that effort in. You could do everything, but that's a dream wish where you want it to happen, but you can't get them to do it. But your good wish is when you wish within your own capacity to make things happen. And that's really a way, something I've never really thought about, because I think a lot of people, when we wish, we try and wish something so big or something that was out of our control, rather than focusing the narrative on ourselves and do things that we can control. So how can we use that manifesting and wish fulfillment to overcome our challenges and our pain?
For example, now that you just said about the child, if you, for example, have a child which is needs to have help in school, right? So this is a big problem for a parent. He's like, how can I make him study, for example? So that is already a different question. It's not like I want my child to pass. It's more like, what can I do to help my child to pass? So now the question is different. It's help me, whoever you wanna talk to, your higher self, for example, help me help my child. So that is a different way. Then you have turned it back to yourself. It is always about yourself. What can I do to improve this situation? What can I do to improve the situation in that discussion I have with my husband or my partner or whatever it is? So what can I do to improve the situation with my boss? So it's always turning it back to yourself. What can I do? Not what can he do to make things better for me? You understand? It's the difference. The key is really always to get back to yourself, because this is where you can change things, and you can change things. You can change things to the better for your child, because maybe you say, okay, how can I help my child? Please help me help my child. And then maybe you come across a tutor who can help your child.
Yes.
So it's always about going back to yourself. That is the key.
You discovered near-death experiences from reading the book of life, Afterlife by Raymond Moody. And this is something you talk heavily about. You're very passionate about this. You said this deep interest brought you eventually to explore the mind and understand where and what is the power of the mind. Can you explain the findings from reading this book? Because it's something you're so passionate about.
This I have to tie back into, I don't know when the thought came into my mind, but I thought it was very extraordinary that we cannot remember where we come from, and we don't have any recollection, so we have like a memory from when we're like 2-3 years old. Earliest memories usually starts about 5-6. That is the memory where we can recollect, and we don't know anything what comes before. But in the near-death experiences, when people have those momentary near-death experience for like 2-3 minutes, maybe they have a heart attack or they have, an accident or something, they all report, not all, there's only like a 4-5% people who actually experience a near-death experience when they are in a coma or when they're in a heart attack. But those ones which do have a near-death experience, they have very similar experiences. They talk about a tunnel or the being of light or the library where they suddenly knew everything. And I thought it was extraordinarily fascinating that there was thousands or millions of people who have this kind of experience, and they have more or less same
So almost like
experiences, same I can't remember the word now, but they experience the same kind of facts within this near-death experience. So that's when I kind of realized that there is some kind of consciousness. It's like a consciousness for where we all part of. And that's where my that's why I wanted to explore consciousness, like, for example, telepathy. I thought it was extraordinarily fascinating that some people have got an ability to telepathically know what another person is thinking or doing. You know, they were doing those tests where they have, for example, a person is looking at cards, and another person in another room is guessing what card a person is looking at. And there are some persons who have got an extraordinary ability to telepathically connect with other people. So there's obviously some aspect to our being which we haven't really understood yet really well. It's all kind of still in a kind of a spiritual level, but it is just because we haven't figured out the tools yet to prove it, but it's there. It's like 200 years ago, we could have not imagined that we're going to have mobile phones. Yeah. And they would have thought, oh, that Tesla is thinking about mobile phones, well, he's a bit crazy. And now 100 years later, we do have mobile phones. And this is what I think also with human consciousness, we just simply haven't discovered, the tool yet to kind of prove it. But there is signs that it's much, much bigger than what we at this particular moment assume it to be.
You have something called the Lucid Mind Center.
The Lucid Mind Center.
Yes, what is that?
The Lucid Mind Center is basically my website where I collect all those thoughts, all those ideas which I have discovered over the years. And originally I started it because I became a facilitator for the Monroe Institute, where we're using hemisync to go into deep, relaxed states of consciousness to experience out-of-body experiences, because there's a lot of people who really want to do that nowadays, and lucid dreaming. So I needed to create a website. I needed to create somewhere where people would be able to find me and the things which I'm doing. And that's when I started creating the Lucid Mind Center. And as I was coming across other things, I just added them into the website, which eventually is going to end up in a book.
Yes, because you are an author. So, I mean, when people go on this Lucid Mind Center, it really gives a order of what you've learned over the years. You've shared it with people. And one thing I find fascinating about some of your work is that you talk about the power of forgiveness and gratitude, because those are very things that can hold us back a lot. Because when you're so angry, when you're so mad at people, you tend to get yourself mentally ill. So I need to ask you, Judith, how can the power of the mind help us in that forgiveness and finding gratitude of of our own existence?
Well, forgiveness is the key. Forgiveness is the key to everything, but forgiveness is not the easiest. It's not the easiest entry point. Forgiveness, you heard of the ego and the higher self, and then there's our own consciousness. The human consciousness is very limited. We are seeing only what we are focusing on. And forgiveness helps us to not focus on the bad stuff in another person, for example, because when you focus, I don't know if you have a concept of the ego.
The
ego is the angry part, is the part which has got fear, so for me, ego is equal to fear. And when you have an argument with somebody, you're so angry, and it's almost as if the ego, the fear, the angry part of you has kind of gotten hold of you and doesn't let go. And what is going on in the mind, then you are constantly blaming the other person. You're saying, you've done this, you maybe don't say it to them, but in your mind you're going, and to get out of this bad feeling, you kind of have to forgive them. Now, how to forgive them is to realize that what you are reacting to is their ego mind, not to their higher self. So you have to kind of forgive them and say, you know what? I'm forgiving you because you don't really know what you're doing, the same as I don't really know what you're doing. And my intention really is to connect to my higher self and look at your higher self. That's really what I want to do, because I want to feel good, and I can't feel good alone. So I want you to feel good as well. So that is what forgiveness is. And in this world right now, what we can see in the wars and everything, this is always because there has several ego minds have got together. Ego minds and they just cannot forgive. They cannot forgive themselves, they cannot forgive others, and they are creating a lot of destruction around themselves because they cannot connect to their higher self, connect to their holy self, or the divine self, or whatever you want to call it. And that is how that's where forgiveness comes in. But the easiest way to connect into this purity of oneself is gratitude. Gratitude is not so heavy. It's easier to be thankful for something, whereby forgiveness is much harder, because it's like this is like the advanced step of connecting to yourself. It's not easy. Not easy.
No, gratitude is just because you could just look around and find things to be grateful for. I think even just breathing is a good thing, that people could just be being alive is something. It's so easy to know where to start, but with forgiveness, I think there's a lot of hard hurdles you have to get past before you could actually believe in yourself that you're ready to forgive and move on. Judith, before I let you go, you're on a mission to help people with what you've learned, with what you've seen over the years. What message would you pass on to others who are looking for that kind of joy that you've learned over the years through your children, through your method of wishing, and through everything, your job? What message would you like to pass on to others?
Well, do anything what you can do to make yourself remember who you are in truth. Because each one of us knows, really deep inside, we always know it. We knew it from the moment we could think, and we know it all the time. It's kind of lingering there, that knowledge. And if you don't listen to it, if you don't listen to this knowing, this is when the problem's starting, because as we get older, the problem increases and wants to come out. And so I recommend to everybody, do whatever you can, whether this is yoga, whether this is qigong, whether this is any kind of energy work. I recommend to do. I recommend to move your body, keep your body healthy. And I recommend to everybody to do some mind training work, like, for example, A Course in Miracles. This is a 365-day course, or I don't know, maybe some other, I don't know. Some people, they do Christianity, some people do other different kind of religions, but it's just to study it, to understand that there is some sort of a higher power than what we are. It doesn't mean that I don't want them to be religious. I just want them to explore it and connect to yourself. Whatever it is, do it.
If someone is questioning and wants to reach out to you, how can they get hold of you?
They can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm most busy. This is Lucid Mind Center, spelled the American way, and on my website as well, lucidmindcenter.com. And also on Facebook, I'm not that much there, but this is the two places where you can find me. And then you can contact me and we can talk, and not a problem at all.
Oh, thank you so much, Judith. This is truly amazing. I mean, I've learned the importance of forgiveness. I've learned the importance of gratitude, but more importantly is how difficult forgiveness can be, because we always think, oh, just forgive that person. And you still find people struggling in that concept of forgiveness, but you've kind of explained why they might go through that struggle and why it's so important to eventually find it in yourself to forgive that person. I really appreciate this conversation. Thank you so much for spending the time with me and sharing your own journey of life. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.